Dealerships have shuttered, sales are down by nearly 16%, and a century-old icon is now trailing behind rivals. It is a reality few imagined for Harley-Davidson. Once the unstoppable force of American rebellion, the brand's collapse in 2025 signals more than just corporate failure. It reveals a deeper identity crisis. How did the symbol of freedom lose its grip, and what happens to a legend when its riders disappear? The answer begins with the story behind Harley's rise. In 1903, inside a small wooden shed in Milwaukee, William S. Harley and Arthur Davidson built their first motorized bicycle. The machine was simple, but the ambition was clear: create something powerful and distinctly American. By 1909, Harley-Davidson introduced the V-twin engine, a design that would become the company's signature heartbeat for generations. The deep, rumbling sound of that engine soon echoed across the country, drawing in riders who craved more than just transportation. They wanted a sense of belonging and freedom. As the years passed, Harley-Davidson's motorcycles found their way into police fleets and onto the open highways, forging a reputation for durability and authority. The company's bar and shield logo became a badge of honor, stitched onto jackets and painted on tanks. Through the Great Depression, 2 world wars, and the changing tides of American culture, Harley's identity only grew stronger. By the 1980s, the Harley Owners Group, known as HOG, transformed ownership into a rite of passage, with rallies and cross-country rides that celebrated a shared lifestyle. This deep connection to tradition shaped every decision, from the heavy chrome styling to the cruiser ergonomics that defined the brand. Harley-Davidson wasn't just selling motorcycles, it was selling an idea, one rooted in rebellion, camaraderie, and a distinctly American vision of the road. But as the world changed, these very choices became both the brand's strength and its greatest limitation, setting the stage for challenges that would test the core of what it meant to ride a Harley. Kawasaki's U.S. sales climbed 14.2% in 2025, a figure that stands out in a shrinking market. Their strategy, offering entry-level motorcycles for under $5,500, drew in first-time riders and younger buyers who wanted affordability and performance. Honda and Yamaha followed suit, filling showrooms with lightweight models and sport bikes that appealed to a new generation. Harley's lineup, by contrast, remained anchored in heavyweight cruisers, with sticker prices starting near $10,000, placing them out of reach for many prospective riders. The value gap widened as competitors introduced bikes with advanced features at lower prices, while Harley's core models grew older alongside their owners. The number of Harley motorcycles sold in the U.S. dropped from 260,000 units in 2006 to just 121,000 in 2023. That's more than a 50% decline over less than 2 decades. Meanwhile, the average age of a Harley buyer continued to rise, with baby boomers aging out of the hobby and few millennials or Gen Z riders stepping in to take their place. An industry analyst summed it up: younger riders want bikes that fit their lives and budgets. When your entry price is double that of your competition, you lose not just sales, but an entire generation of customers. As the pool of loyal riders shrank, dealerships faced empty showrooms and slow-moving inventory. The erosion of Harley's demand base became impossible to ignore, setting the stage for deeper financial trouble ahead. Quarterly filings from 2025 reveal a stark reality for Harley-Davidson. In the second quarter alone, company revenue fell by 19%. United States retail sales dropped 15.9% compared to the previous year, and global retail sales slid another 6%. These are not isolated numbers. They reflect a pattern that has played out across consecutive quarters, with mounting losses and shrinking market share. The broader market has softened too, but Harley-Davidson's decline outpaces the industry. While inflation and higher interest rates have curbed spending on big-ticket items, the impact is especially severe for a brand built on premium pricing. Financing a new Harley has become more expensive, and for many would-be buyers, the cost simply outweighs the appeal. Dealers report growing inventory and fewer buyers walking through the door. Even as the company trims production and cuts costs, the pressure from rising rates and economic uncertainty continues to squeeze both consumers and dealers. The premium motorcycle segment, once a dependable source of profit, now faces headwinds that threaten its very foundation. Harley-Davidson's leadership points to external forces, but the numbers tell a story of urgency, one that demands more than minor adjustments. As the financial picture darkens, the company is forced to consider moves that would have been unthinkable just a few years ago. Inside Harley-Davidson's Milwaukee headquarters, the mood shifted from pride to pressure as the Hardwire strategy took center stage. Announced as a blueprint for survival, the plan promised to double down on what made Harley famous: premium touring motorcycles, higher margins, and a leaner product lineup. Slides from board meetings spelled it out: fewer models, a sharper focus on the most profitable bikes, and a clear retreat from the entry-level market that competitors were seizing. The company's leadership insisted this was the only path forward, but not everyone agreed. Shareholders and analysts began to question whether Harley was abandoning too much in its pursuit of profitability. Letters from activist investors landed on the desks of board members in early 2025, warning that the company was, in their words, committing slow-motion suicide, pricing out every potential customer. Proxy statements circulated, calling for new leadership and a return to broader product offerings. The tension spilled into public filings, with critics arguing that the Hardwire plan was pushing away not just younger riders, but also longtime enthusiasts who felt the brand was becoming too exclusive. As the boardroom debate intensified, decision-making ground to a halt. Some directors pushed to stick with the premium pivot, citing short-term gains in operating margins. Others demanded a reversal, pointing to shrinking sales, dealership closures, and the risk of fading cultural relevance. The result was a leadership gridlock. No clear direction, only mounting frustration from dealers and shareholders alike. The strategic divide at the top left the rest of the company in limbo just as the fallout began to hit the front lines of Harley's dealer network. In the fall of 2024, the New York City Harley-Davidson dealership closed its doors after decades in business. Within weeks, Los Angeles and Alexandria, Louisiana followed, joining a growing list of shuttered locations across the country. Dealers faced mounting pressure from unsold inventory and steep floor plan interest rates, a burden made worse as sales dried up. One longtime dealer put it bluntly. They said they used to sell 200 bikes a year. Last year, they barely moved 60. The numbers just stopped making sense. Behind each closure stood not just lost jobs, but the disappearance of local gathering spots and service hubs. Riders in smaller towns found themselves hours from the nearest dealership, eroding both access and the everyday presence of the Harley brand. The network that once brought the company close to its customers began to unravel, leaving empty showrooms where community once thrived. Livewire, Harley-Davidson's high-profile electric spin-off, launched with fanfare but failed to ignite new demand. Sales made up less than 5% of the company's fleet, and the core rider base never fully embraced the shift. Meanwhile, Indian Motorcycle posted a 4.9% sales increase, gaining ground with younger buyers and a wider range of models. In July 2025, Harley sold its financial services arm for $1.25 billion, unlocking cash but raising questions about long-term direction. Rumors of a model priced below $6,000 swirl, but nothing concrete has surfaced. An enthusiast sums it up. They say we want Harley to move forward, but not if it means losing what makes it ours. The debate over heritage and innovation remains unresolved. Today, Harley-Davidson's struggle is a warning to every legacy brand. Loyalty alone cannot outpace a shifting market. As younger riders choose innovation over nostalgia, identity must adapt or it will fade. Reinvention is not optional. It is survival. The road ahead is not just uncertain, it is already here. Share your thoughts below.